Today's presenter is Jerzy Wallach, Vice President of Product Management for Polarion Software. Jerzy brings over 10 years of experience in software product management and engineering, where he is responsible for the product roadmap and product management for Polarion. His unique mix of technical acumen and business savvy enable him to translate market needs into enterprise-grade solutions that are proven to help Polarion customers accelerate collaboration, integrity, and innovation. Welcome, Jerzy.
Hello, everybody. Today I will speak about Polarion 2014. We also do have service releases during the year. We follow the agile methodology with frequent release. So more or less I will summarize everything that happened last year and that we packed as Polarion 2014. So yeah, my name is Jerzy Wallach. If you would have any questions, of course, use Q&A panel, but you can also contact me directly. The agenda for today's webinar is very, very straightforward. I will just introduce Polarion for those who do not know us, and then we will spend all the time on what's new and what's in our brand new release. Ask questions anytime. At the end, definitely we will have some more time to go through the questions one by one. We are a privately held company founded in 2004, and we have been a leading innovator in web-based requirements management and AOM solutions since our first product release in 2005, so almost 10 years ago. Our commercial products deliver high-value AOM solutions for companies of different sizes in a broad spectrum of industries. We have been, and also continue to be, a strong supporter of the open source community with significant contributions for Subversion and Eclipse users. Since we have started, over 1 million people have downloaded our solutions, and more than just a few of them develop software in some of the world's best-known and most respected companies. Our community has more than 10,000 registered members, and some of whom have contributed to more than 100 extensions to our products. We have a strong global presence with Polarion and partner offices located in strategic markets around the world. So no matter where you are, you can contact us everywhere. So that was the introduction about Polarion software for those who do not know us. And now let's speak about Polarion 2014. It's a giant step forward for us, and so I've prepared my presentation. It has several chapters, and I will start with Enterprise Polarion. Why we call it Enterprise Polarion? You know, Polarion is focusing a lot on mechatronics industry. We have many customers from automotive, from aerospace, from medical device manufacturing, of course also financials and pure software development. But what's definitely common is that the complexity of the software projects is rapidly growing. I mean, if you see the data here, we see that, I mean, the number of lines of code has raised from 1.7 million for Air Force F-22 in 100 millions of lines of code in the average luxury car 2010 or 2012. So this is a high increase in the complexity of the software projects. This is just a number of lines, but of course we speak about number of product variants, about software being involved more and more in manufacturing. And as a result, most of our customers rely on Polarion being running 24/7 and fulfilling a very large amount of requests. And how do we improve Polarion in this area? Of course, we can fix issues like we did, that the wiki reporting is around 10 times faster because we fixed some issues. We can try to improve the speed in general, like loading of work items is up to 25% faster with the new release. This makes, of course, an impact on other features like loading of documents. We can just review our data and our deployments, like we find out that in some special cases the customers have documents with many comments, and we have improved the performance 3 times for such side cases. We can also, consider understanding better the environment where Polarion is really running. Having a different browsers, different resolutions, and based on that, we were able to also improve the performance 90 to 80% faster for some browsers or product deployment variants. But that's just, not enough. At the end, we all know this issue. No matter how performant is the single backend, there is always a queue of people waiting for being served. And there is actually a standard solution how we make our users more happy, and this is to open more counters, to be just able to serve high number of users. And we don't speak about hundreds, we speak about thousands of users being operated by Polarion deployment. And because of that, we implemented our native Polarion clustering solution. Even in the past, we had an opportunity to deploy multiple Polarion servers in so-called multi-instance environments, so you can split data across different sites and repositories. And with Polarion 2014, you can set up any number of Polarion servers, and for each server, you can more or less decide whether it is the same own repository or it uses some kind of a shared repository. Not to speak technical, there is a very nice practical example that you have two entry points for Polarion, like one for production projects and the other for the incubator projects. It has a different URL. That's the entry point for a user. And for each repository, for each URL, you can configure whether the server will be managed by multiple Polarion servers with a load balancer on top of it and shared license manager, or if it has a single repository. This provides us a very nice opportunity to deliver the failover strategy without any single point of failure, how to boost the performance if one server is overloaded with some business logic like continuous integration, heavy report generation. We can easily scale the deployment to any needs. How it looks live, that's the entry point to our production servers. So as you know, Polarion is using Polarion ALM to develop our products. So from the user point of view, the solution is fully transparent. I can have any number of repositories. And if you drill down, we see that some of the nodes are operated by multiple servers. So it's a fully transparent solution, out of the box, part of Polarion 2014. How we also improve scalability and performance is that we are leveraging much the multi-CPU architecture and also different protocols to access the data. Polarion stores all the data in the version control management repository in Subversion. Everything is versioned, not just the data, but also project configuration, the workflow configuration. This is very important for compliance reasons. And Polarion is now using a different protocols and is leveraging more the multi-CPU architecture. So Polarion 2014 is around 3 to 4 times faster in terms of system performance than the previous major version. So this is the first topic. I started with Enterprise Polarion because it's in our core architecture, and we can spend all of the rest of our presentation to focus more on the visually appealing features. Let's start with planning capabilities. We deliver a solution for application lifecycle management, and there is one area that is somehow evolving, and that's application development lifecycle management. We also see some of the competitors to make some borders between ALM and ADLM, and we are not really happy about this movement, and you can see that this was actually confirmed also by some analysts, as this is the definition of ADLM by Gartner. And application development lifecycle management is evolving with a focus on coordinating the planning and execution of software projects without an emphasis on work items, planning iterations, and coordination of actions across the teams. We think that it's much better to still speak about ALM and not split the development lifecycle from the complete application lifecycle management. We still believe in the single unified ALM solution, but definitely we agree with the fact that the planning and the execution of software projects is a very essential part of ALM. With Polarion, you were always able to manage so-called work items. So we actually pioneered this concept of a work item almost 10 years ago with a very flexible data model. So no matter what process you follow, you can set up your own terminology, your own process, workflow, and model definition. As the term suggests, it's a work item, so you can report your time, developers' time, as they work on the requirements, on the items. But you can also plan the work items for the releases. This is nothing new. We were having many customers doing the release and milestone management with Polarion 2013 and before, but we decided to introduce a brand new artifact to support planning activities. The artifact is called, what a surprise, a plan. So what is this character about, the plan? First, plan is exposed in a top-level navigation. It's a new artifact type. More or less, it's a container. It's similar to our test run or live document. The plan defines what should be delivered in a given time, so there is a beginning and an end for a plan. It defines a scope. You can manage a metadata related to a plan, like custom fields, owner, team responsibility. You can define the capacity, and of course there is a kind of reporting functionality built on top of the planning feature. So that's a plan. A completely new high-level artifact contains a granular work items. The plans are flexible, so as everything in Polarion, we don't force any process or terminology. You can follow the agile methodology, or you can follow the waterfall V-model process, and you can define the release structure as you like in your project. So on this screenshot, you can see that in this project we have set up a release and an iteration. The release can have a sub-releases like milestones. The iteration is a short time frame that lasts typically 1 to 4 weeks, but that's very flexible. You can customize it to whatever needs you have inside of your process. Of course, the very important part of the planning is not just reporting and the fact that it's a container. You need to perform all those use cases like planning the work items into the releases. There is a nice drag and drop functionality to control the planning of iterations, milestones, or versions, with the ability to control the capacity or control the priority of the requirements and the release milestone or sprint. For those who are familiar with Polarion, you can definitely compare plans very nicely to test runs. So as a high-level artifact, a plan has a dedicated report page. You can customize this page fully to whatever you need to present on your plan page, from some nice burn-down charts, burn-up charts, but also configure some statistics about the workflow or details about the actual requirements. One remark here: in the past we were relying on some pre-computed data. Currently, all the reporting is done on top of our time machine technology, so every single information is being indexed also in the past revisions. So the burn-up charts, the burn-down charts, it's all live. You don't need to pre-compute everything. Whenever you change anything in your project, the information is instantly displayed on the plan report. Easy of use. I'm personally very happy that I can speak again about easy of use, because I think that it's not a one-time investment. And there is a nice example from the Olympics this year when Martina Sablikova, the Czech speed skater, was winning her third gold medal. And as you can see here, she was losing on the beginning against Iron Vis from Netherlands, but she was able to maintain the speed all the time on the 5,000 meters. So at the end, she was like 2 seconds ahead. This is a nice example of that you need to keep the momentum all the time while you are competing against competitors, but also while you are developing Polarion ALM. And every year, we inform our users about very heavy improvements in the ease of use. But this example also shows that sometimes you can be very fast in the beginning, but you are not able to keep the speed. And that's also something that we see very often with Polarion, that maybe comparing to some other competing products, it might see a bit more complex on the beginning, but we are able to maintain the large number of data, the large complexity of the projects with the same easy of use. I'll just show you some history. So this was a Polarion 2007 with Outlook-like interface. This is Polarion 2013. It's a much improved interface. Since Polarion 2010, we are getting more and more nice quotes about ease of use. But to approve an item, you were still forced to use a table interface to mark an item as approved or disapproved. This year, Polarion 2014, we have, for example, implemented a called Approval Center to mark requirements as disapproved or approved. And that's what we are doing. Every release, we are constantly reviewing the functionality that was in the product since Polarion 2005, and we are able to improve those use cases dramatically. As a result, the reason why some of the customers have selected Polarion is the ease of use. Approval Center, so this was what was presented on the screenshot, is the solution for the specification owners if they need really to make sure that it's approved by multiple stakeholders. So comparing to the workflow allows you to go through the set of transitions. So it's a sequential transition from one state to the other. And the approval center lets you perform transition, approval or disapproval by multiple stakeholders in the same time. If you are a stakeholder who needs to approve an item, you can very easily approve and disapprove items in this approval center, or ask questions, initiate discussions, or quickly review where you are in your approval process. Next topic is requirements exchange. Polarion provides a complete AOM solution. Sometimes, some of our customers need to exchange, or they are using a different solutions for requirements management and quality assurance. But today, I would like to speak more about manufacturer and supplier collaboration. I will use as an example the automotive industry, but the standards I will speak about today are getting more and more used also in the other industries. So we have the car manufacturer supplier using Polarion requirements. They are actually enjoying our products much. And there is a car manufacturer who is struggling with some legacy RM tool. And at the end, they need to exchange data. So it means that car manufacturer needs to send initial specification to the supplier. They collaborate and they extend it with functional requirements. They need to send it back for review. And at the end, they all want to ensure that the specification is being shared consistently. Fortunately, there is a standard called REC-IF and RIF that enables the requirements exchange. We did support the REC-IF and RIF exchange in the past as well through some remote adapters, but Polarion 2014 enables the requirements exchange out of the box without any additional plugins or components. So you can take and you can import the initial REC-IF or RIF documents. If you get a new specification, updated specification, you can also re-import the specification and just the changes are processed. It's very important that additional metadata that were tracked in Polarion are still kept. You can take Polarion live documents that were imported or even created from scratch, and you can export it to REC-IF so the remote entity can load it to their requirements management system, and make sure that there is a full traceability across remote applications. So at the end, both manufacturer and supplier have both the functional and design specification documents in sync and linked together. So once again, out-of-the-box capabilities for requirements interchange using REC-IF and RIF document formats. Live documents. Live document technology is one of our most unique technology we deliver to the market. What is a live document for those who do not know? Live document is first a document. So it looks as a document, and you can edit it as a Word document or as a Google document, but it has one great advantage. The advantage is that it contains granular entities called the work items. So it's not a single monolithical big document, but it's actually granular enough so every single paragraph or more or less a section is fully traceable with globally unique identifier for better traceability across the documents, across the projects. It's very cool and unique technology that you can manage, the document view and the table view on the same data, but it creates actually a very high user expectations. So we see that more and more of our customers are comparing our live documents to Word documents, and they expect more or less the very similar feature set. From some point of view, it's not really realistic. We don't provide a solution to do a very high-level typesetting. But on the other hand, we need to add more and more features every year just to be sure that the product meets the expectations. So for this year, we were, for example, adding a support for different font styles and colors for requirement specification documents. We don't speak about the corporate identity standards because whenever you have a live document, you want to export it to PDF with Word, you can, of course, apply your own or template, but the customers were asking for managing the different fonts and colors to highlight some paragraphs or fragments, or we had a capability for search and replace in our live documents. You can easily set the column and row width and height for embedded tables, and all of that was actually supported by new JavaScript engine that was implemented for our live documents. This was a very transparent change. We actually implemented it in the service release 1 this year, so it's not really new for our existing customers, but it's definitely a great result of our recent implementation during the last year. This new engine is much more powerful. I was already speaking on the beginning about improved performance of our live documents, because you can understand that those specification documents can be pretty large, up to 5,000 requirements in a single document. But it also enables us to implement new features more quickly. One feature that is quite important is that the live document becomes more a high-level artifact with its own workflow than just a container. So with Polarion 2014, you can actually define or create custom metadata for a document, like an owner or a Boolean custom field, whether the document is internal. You can set up the enumeration custom fields like a target release and render them inside of the document content, or refer to all those custom fields from the standard header and footers if you export a document to Word or PDF. Reporting. Reporting is definitely a very important component of an ALM solutions for any ALM solution that is on the market today. And we are actually following a short and long-term strategy to improve the ability of easy-to-use and very flexible reporting in our technology. So definitely, I mean, Polarion out-of-the-box reporting solution is based on the Wiki technology. You can script the Wiki pages with the full access to the Polarion Open API, and it's one of the most flexible reporting solution I've seen on the market, because I mean it's very heavily based on the scripting. There is some technical knowledge required to actually design those reports, but the good thing is that you can design more or less any kind of reports you like. And every year on our user conference, we hear how our customers can benefit from this technology, and they really implement the very sophisticated reports using the Wiki scripting technology. To improve the rollout phase and to make sure that our customers can start running their projects not in months but in weeks, we have implemented many of the report templates and predefined reports that are part of our project templates. We also share all those reports on the POP site. The POP site is our community server where our customers and our professional services can exchange the extensions. And all of these report templates are actually supported by our support team, so you can easily take it as a base and extend it by your technicians, by our professional services, or with the help of our support department. We've also completely switched to different charting library. In the past, we were relying on Flash. I mean, the Flash is not really friendly. The Flash technology doesn't really work on the mobile devices. It has some limitations. We decided we don't want to rely on Flash anymore. So we have a new charting library that's more rich, it's quite nicer, and it exports easily to PDF or Word if needed. So all of the new reports are actually reworked. The Flash charting library was replaced by the pure HTML and image-based library. You can start using this charting library by your own reports. Everything is fully documented in Polarion 2014. But when we executed survey, there was a question. I mean, do you need to report across different tools and solutions? And actually, 60% of our customers were saying, yes, we need to report from multiple sources, but we do not have a solution yet. And you're thinking, I mean, that's a very important point. I mean, that with Polarion ALM, I mean, you can manage any number of lifecycle phases. You can more or less fully support a full lifecycle, but our customers, they still use some other third-party applications for CRM, for invoicing, for anything else, and they need to report or link the Polarion ALM data with external data sets. Because of that, we decided that we will also link Polarion with a third-party reporting solution. We have selected the technology called BIRD. It's a business intelligence reporting technology from equids.org. This is an extension that will be published on our POP site on March the 25th. And it's actually a very nice example about flexibility of Polarion ALM and how you can integrate Polarion ALM with different tools. So the BIRD technology provides you a desktop designer where you can design your reports using just a visual designer or drag and drop. And you can deploy reports in the new area called BIRD reports inside of Polarion and execute the reports inside of Polarion. The nice thing about BERT is that you can actually combine different data sources. So you can combine a Polarion SQL data source and some third-party data sources in a single report, but still expose all of these information inside of Polarion interface linked in your project context. So once again, it's a remote application that you install on your server. It will be available March 25th on our website. It demonstrates or delivers the integration with our third-party reporting technology called BERT. Quality assurance. We have a product called Polarion QA, and since the beginning, the main focus was the actual test management. But we were thinking from the beginning that it should not be just a solution for manual testing or for issue tracking, that we should really cover the full quality assurance process. It works very well. I mean, we have received a wonderful feedback about test planning becomes much more transparent with using our solutions. We do improve the quality assurance solution every year. I mean, we do add a little enhancements based on our customer feedback. With Polarion 2014, you can, for example, manage the visual or binary attachments to every single test step result. You can manage the attachments to the overall test record. But it's not just the actual test management that is so popular with Polarion QA. I think what's even more important is that the Polarion QA is really a central place where you manage all the quality assurance processes. And what we see at our customers is that they do not rely on a single vendor to deliver all the testing tools. We see many different test automation tools from different vendors deployed at the customer side. And it's not just the testing, but it's also the static source code analysis and the overall quality assurance process that needs to be integrated with one solution. And here, Polarion is very flexible to integrate those third-party solutions, and we constantly work with third-party vendors to enable the integration. So if you are using any test automation technology or static source code analysis, please contact Polarion, and we will definitely ensure that the integration between your testing tools and source code analysis tools exists, so we can manage every single testing activity in your process. So whatever fails, if this is the source code check or performance automated test, it's being managed in the same way. So the issue is generated and assigned to a developer. What you see here is the Clockwork Polarion plugin that enables the issues that are recognized by the Clockwork solution being imported directly. It means instantly, transparently to Polarion. Cloud. As I said on the beginning, we focus a lot on mechatronics customers. We still see that most of our customers, they do not want actually to store data in a cloud, but it's changing every year. And we are definitely sure that the cloud software service delivery will become more and more popular in the future. In the past, we have a dedicated product called Polarion Cloud. This was more or less the ALM solution delivered in the cloud, managed by our services. But actually, we have realized that it's not as flexible as our in-house deployment model. So whenever you decide for Polarion, if you decide for Polarion requirements or Polarion QA, we always deliver a Polarion ALM backend for free on your server. So later, I mean, if you start using Polarion requirements, you can later get some Polarion QA licenses, and all those people can collaborate together easily because there is this rich ALM backend installed on the server. And the ability of mixing those licenses like ALM requirements and QA under one server is definitely one of the goals why we provide the best value for the money. And we decided that we would like to repeat, to simply copy the same licensing model on the cloud. So starting Polarion 2014, you can actually not just have one single product called Polarion Cloud, but you can mix easily the base products, Polarion requirements, Polarion QA, Polarion ALM, and you can also enhance the cloud delivery with so-called enhancing products, Polarion Pro and Polarion Reviewer. This enables really the very customized deployment and make sure that we provide the best value for the money, more or less. I would like to finish my presentation today with one more integration we have implemented this year. It has been a while since we have released it. but it's definitely part of our Polarion 2014 package, and it's a Polarion connector for a MATLAB Simulink. We have a diagramming solution part of Polarion, so you can definitely design your requirements model, use case, or some basic UML diagrams inside of Polarion. But what we see is more and more the need of traceability between the system model and Polarion. And because of that, we have implemented a connector for MATLAB Simulink that enables the bidirectional synchronization between a system model and a data model in Polarion. So you can link system models with Polarion requirements, or you can publish a Simulink model to Polarion for review or better impact analysis. This connector is provided for free to all of the MATLAB Simulink users and all of the Polarion users. We have a similar technology also available for UML. If you, for example, use the Enterprise Innovator, you can definitely use the Enterprise Architect connector to link the UML diagrams with Polarion. So that's more or less everything I wanted to speak about today. There is much more actually delivered in our solution. If you would like to understand more about our brand new release, go to our blog.polarion.com. And you'll find all the details about Polarion 2014, or if you have any question, just send us an email or ask now. So let me open the question and answer panel. Are plans only available with the ALM license? Yes. Some aspects of planning are available within within QA and Pro licenses, like a work reporting, but feature set to actually perform the milestone release planning is part of ALM only. Can a work item being part of several plans? Yes, for sure. So background is a platform deployment that leads to different products in one release. Some tasks are related to different projects running in parallel. So definitely you can plan a single work item in the multiple plans, but the more important information is where do you keep actually the status of a work item. If you really need, if there are multiple teams working on implementation of a single requirement in multiple plans, then what we definitely recommend is to split the actual specification of the feature and the actual tracking of the implementation for a product variant. So what we typically recommend is to create so-called work packages that represents the implementation of a requirement in a different product. So in general, yes, you can plan a work item for multiple plans, but if you want to separate the workflow, you need to have the sub-items to isolate the lifecycle. Do developers need also ALM license if new planning feature is used? Based on our licensing schema, no. I mean, the most suitable license for developers is a Pro license. By the way, we don't limit the access to the data for any of our product license. So it's all about the security and permissions. So developers can definitely access all the planning information. They can also access the testing results, everything. The only thing that we really restrict by our licensing model is the ability to edit the content with some specific tools. So if the developer needs just to check the plan, report the progress, check the process, check the dependencies, of course they don't need the ALM license. If you have a senior project manager or senior developer who needs also to perform some of the planning games, then they should get the ALM license. Do Polarion support digital signatures? Please try to use the Q&A panel and not the chat. But yes, Polarion does support the digital signatures. We are compliant with the digital signatures as designed by FDA. So it's the FDA CFR 21, Part 11, if I remember correctly. Is it possible to use story points instead of person hours in the new planning feature? Definitely. You can use any kind of methodology or estimation schema. It's very flexible. You can use both. Will the approval center be available only for documents or also in the work item view? It is available in the work item view as well. Whatever we implement now, we make sure that it's available both in a document and a table view. So yes, I mean, you can use the same easy-to-use interface for approval center for planning or for prioritization. There was a question about supporting medical products industry. How does Polarion support the strong regulations in that industry? I think that when we speak about regulations, we need to understand two different aspects. One is the actual features in the tool itself, like the electronic signatures, or the aspect of traceability, of being able to check that every single transition in the process is definitely tracked with Polarion, and we do all of that. And the second one is it's the same important is the actual embedded knowledge, and we also have the project templates predefined for different markets. We have the templates for ISO 26262 for automotive industry. We have the templates for DO 178B for aerospace, and we do have some process templates for medical as well. I'm just not remembering all the standard names. So if you are interested in how we do support different regulations, from a tool point of view, it's definitely fully supported. And if you are looking more for the embedded knowledge, then please contact Polarion, and we will definitely schedule a one-to-one demo where we can speak more about this. Is there a drag-and-drop possibility to move work item between different statuses in a sprint board? We have a new implementation of the sprint board. We are still somehow reluctant to implement a drag-and-drop on the sprint board, and it's mostly based on the fact that in the processes we have implemented for our customers, we see that if you mark an item, for example, as implemented, it's not just the change of a status. You need always to check the related artifacts. Are the unit tests linked? Is the risk field correctly sent? Have you performed the code review? So actually, most of the time what we see is that it's not just as easy as to move an item from one column to the other, as we can see in some of the very simpler Scrum tools. We definitely plan for the future to enhance a sprint board, maybe not with a drag and drop, because it's not that we don't like drag and drop, but that the Scrum board will enable a Scrum team to enter all the data that you need to enter on the daily Scrum meeting. So what are all those information you need to enter on the Scrum meeting every day? It's more or less to check the estimate, so fill in the remaining estimate based on the actual state. Report your time that you have spent the day before. Maybe check the dependencies, or also just enter additional comments as the team discussed the progress with the Scrum Master. So yeah, we have on our roadmap to have the sprint board more interactive. We don't want to do it simpler than it actually should be to cover the enterprise agile processes. But yes, it's on our plan. But so far, if you want to change the status, you need to open the form of a work item. The plan module has inbuilt templates for the reports and sprint planning, or we have to design the wiki pages ourselves. Of course, we have the predefined templates, both for formal processes with our mandates estimates, or more agile processes with a story point-based calculations. So all the templates I was showing today are out of the box supported by Polarion 2014, and we even enable a transition for our existing customers, so you can easily install those new templates to your existing projects. Does Polarion integrate with the model as a whole, MATLAB, Simulink, or Enterprise Architect, or does Polarion break the model down into individual objects, like you shown with the requirements document? It's what we find useful is not that we don't really publish the full model with all of the sub-elements into Polarion, because then having all the elements being published to Polarion, when we speak about MATLAB Simulink, it was very complex and not very user-friendly. So you can actually publish any element you like separately to Polarion and link it or expose it in Polarion, but you need to do it one element by one. You cannot really publish all the elements for a given Simulink module. This functionality is being in review with some of our customers already, and we definitely plan an extension. So that's one of the requirements. We have been told that they would like to have an opportunity to publish more elements at once. If you speak about Enterprise Architect, yes, with Enterprise Architect you can publish multiple elements and have a more granular breakdown structure in Polarion as well. Is it possible to synchronize also links between test cases and requirements to doors? Yes, definitely yes, in a way that, I don't know the flow in your case, but if you want to, for example, import requirements from doors to requirements using the requirements exchange functionality, then you create test cases in Polarion, you link them with requirements, and you import the test specification to doors. At the end, you want to have the both requirements and test specification being in Polarion and indoors and fully linked together. Yes, this is supported by our Requirements Exchange connector. Some weeks ago, Nick Antin told me there will be a change alignment for comment. Is there something changed around this? For commenting functionality, what we implement this year is the ability to mark comments as resolved. There are some requests by our customers to let users to modify their comments. We don't think it's really the best option. We are still considering it, but we have decided that it still makes sense to have some better life cycle for the comments. So definitely with Polarion 2014, you can mark comments or full comment threads as resolved, so they no more appear in on the work item form or in the document editor. Of course, you can decide to also check the resolved comments, but by default they are hidden. In test management, can we just import test results and status without actually authoring the test cases in Polarion? If we speak about the test automation, for sure. If you speak about manual tests, you can decide to import them through some document sheets like Excel or XML, or you can build the custom connector. But yes, our integration, when we speak about using Polarion as a single central solution for managing all the testing activities, it's very important that you don't need to author all the test cases and you import just the results. Does RecHive also helps to synchronize pictures and tables from Polarion to doors? It definitely depends on whether you use the RecHive or RIF, but we have some technology to import images from doors to Polarion through the OLE container. It relies a lot on what version of RIF or RecHive do you use. AOM is supposed to support software development. Can you imagine using Polarion also for lifecycle management within the physical products development? Yes. Definitely we have customers who are using Polarion, for example, for requirements management of a hardware component, so pure products development. We have customers who are using Polarion QA for hardware in a loop tests, for traceability between hardware requirements and the simulating modules. So yes, and we also do have plans, and we work on the actual integration with different PLM tools to enable traceability between requirements, code, tests, and the actual bill of materials. Are there plans to implement context-sensitive enumeration fields? This would be great improvement for issue management. Example, select the task type from one enumeration and restrict the work record type in other enumeration. Yes, this is actually planned for Polarion 2014 Service Release 1 that is coming in May or June this year. So it's a work in progress. Is it easy to upgrade existing projects with new features? Yes, and what is very important is that when you update to Polarion 2014, you still can continue using the product as it is now. So we don't really force any change in the process or any change in the way how you use Polarion. And you can decide any time to actually start using the new feature. For example, convert the old planning capabilities into the new easy planning capabilities of Polarion 2014. So you can start using some of the features instantly if you don't need to configure them. If the transition is not really seamless, or especially if it affects the project lifecycle or the project process, if you install Polarion 2014, you can still use the features as they are in the last major release, and to decide by yourself when you need to perform the transition. That is very much automated. Another question from an existing customer for HPQC Jira connector, something improved, the exchange of links to Polarion items to access opposite application item directly. Again, that's a very nice question, and what I can confirm that this particular enhancement about exposing links for better traceability between Jira and Polarion or HPQC and Polarion is being planned for Service Release 1 this year. I see that we have many existing customers today on the call. We have requirements on on one Polarion instance, and we have another instance for our outsourced development team. How we can share requirements from one Polarion to another Polarion for developers. If I can recommend you, please contact our the account owner or me or whoever in Polarion, and we will schedule a meeting with you, because we have this use case being available as in some kind of the early adopters state. So it'd be great if you can describe your use case more, and you'll definitely deliver a solution for Polarion to Polarion synchronization later this year. If I'm not wrong, Polarion supports, starting from this version, Vectorcast. Do you plan also to also support LDRA, which is a similar well-known competitor of Vectorcast? We are currently in contact with LDRA, and we are considering a partnership and the integration between LDRA and Polarion. Again, please contact us so we can get more understanding about your use cases, and we can collaborate all together on the actual specification and implementation of the connector between LDRA and Polarion. What's the process of upgrading to Polarion 2014? First, this update is for free to all the customers with valid maintenance. It's a very simple process. We always recommend to first install it locally, check the upgrade procedure before you actually roll out it in production, because we fully understand that you rely on Polarion running all the time without any issues. But the process is fully automated. It's very well described. We have already reports by our customers that the transition is, as any other time in the past, very simple and straightforward. No downloading is required. Depends whether you use the Polarion Cloud hosted or in-house deployments. If you use the cloud or hosted solutions, our services team support team is responsible for the upgrade. But because of our customers, most of our customers, they need to be compliant to some regulatory standards. We definitely inform all of our hosted and cloud customers about the planned upgrade to the new version. Yeah. 2013 was relying on Java installation on the client. For 2014, seems it's still the same. There is just one feature where we don't really rely, but we recommend Java being installed on the client, and this is actually the ability to paste a picture from the clipboard as a work item attachment. That's really one single feature that requires the Java being installed on the client. All the other features are purely supported by the HTML and JavaScript framework. This feature is definitely on our roadmap to be replaced with the HTML5 technology, so you'll no longer need to use the Java on the client if you want to paste an image from the clipboard. So it's on our radar, and we want to change it in the very near future. Good. So that's it for today. If you have any more questions, send us an email, and we'll answer it later today or tomorrow, or we will schedule a personal call with you. Thank you all for all the questions you have. I was really more than happy to answer them. Important information, the release is live. We have released it on Tuesday this week. So to all of our customers, please don't hesitate and install Polarion 2014 and enjoy it. If you have any further enhancement requests, just contact our support, and let's collaborate on making our products even more successful. Thank you very much. That's it from my side.
Great, Jerzy. Thanks so much. Fantastic presentation. So much information. I just want to make sure that those still on the call understand that you're going to receive a survey, and in that survey there's an opportunity for you to indicate if you want more information. So if there's still outstanding questions, please tick off that you want to speak with someone else. Both of our sales support teams are waiting. If you have additional questions, there's emails and phone numbers that are going to be provided to you immediately following this presentation. So please, the information's there. Reach out to us so that we can answer any of the questions that may not have had time to get tabled today. And as Jerzy mentioned earlier, please check us out on our blog. It's full of lots of information, as well as all of our on-demand webinars that are available on www.polarion.com. So thank you very much to Jerzy and to all of you who joined us today on behalf of Polarion Software.